Okay, happy Wednesday. This is a video for a budget set. Before we continue, if you comment below and you're a subscriber, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach in the comment section. I'm going to pull out a person that's a subscriber. I can do that if I want to do. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to, but that's how I'm going to do this. So if a subscriber comments below, they might get the Luxury and Precision W4, which is the set that I tried to give away the old way, but it didn't work out. But now I do everything through the unboxing channel. So you really should be subscribed. Definitely turn notifications. And also, I do check if the people are subscribed over there. So that is the item for this video. This set that we're talking about today is a $30 set. It is, I think this is like a branch of Kinera. Celest is the name of this. It is a single, I think, LCP, which is a liquid crystal polymer. It's a driver that a lot of sets have used for a very long time, particularly in the budget arena. Oh, by the way, I'm going to have a graph up here. This is very simple scoring that I do. It's not scientifically based, though you might think at first look that it is very scientific. It is not. It's very, very ghetto. Dumpster fire, hope it was free, coping is working, competes with its peers. I'd buy it. I'm going to completely hype it. I'm going to hype the hell out of it. I'm going to hype the shit out of it. Like, I'm going to go nuts about it. That's the scale, and we'll get to that by the end, or you can skip to that if you want. This is the graph right here. This is Mark's tool. I've got it up against a set called The Gate by Truthier because it is a very, very recent other budget set, which is about $10 more affordable, but I consider stuff between $15 and $30 to be ultra budget. You know, $9 to $30, I guess, but there's not a lot of $10 sets that I'm a fan of, but there, and then 50 is another kind of range, 35 to 50. That's my personal image on it. So I'm going to compare these because they're close in price and also in time. So you might be familiar with it. I wasn't a fan of The Gate because it sounds like the Audio, however that's pronounced. And I know for a fact that that's related to the spike that is around 13 kilohertz and really nothing else in the harmonics besides that. That gives what I can best describe to you as a grainy sound. It was just like that with that Moondrop, and it does the same thing with The Gate. With my library, my ears, my ear canal, how I hear things, it's a very unpleasant listening experience. Looking at the graph for this, I thought this is going to be close to that without that annoyance. But I was wrong, and that's why we listen to music. Let's talk about music. In the low end, listening to big boy killjill hip hop, the triple drop, which the lowest drop is 38 hertz, which is low. It sounded fine. If you listen to a lot of hip hop stuff and you bought this, I think that I don't think that this is really lacking at all for like 808 drops for a library like mine. I think you're fine there. When we get into bass guitar 4 and 5 string with the pulls, the plucks, the releases, the ringing of the string, that's a little bit different. Though it's called the bass guitar, if we do every hertz, if we respect each hertz equally, then 90+% of the bass guitar actually exists outside of the area that's labeled bass and mid bass. Like as we get into the mids, most of it technically exists in the mids actually, very similar to a guitar. It's the deep fundamentals that are lower. However, the tuning beyond the bass is very important to how bass guitar plays back. You can go online and take a look at people that do production because there's lots of software and they will tell you tips and tricks on how to tune for a bass guitar just for that particular instrument. And they're doing manipulations all the way up, particularly to 1.5K notches to give the psychoacoustic illusion of there being physical space between the bass guitar and the drummer. Lots of stuff. If you're into production, you know what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of areas that you can tweak with a bass guitar. I bring that up because there's something about this tuning, and I believe it's not a lot of info beyond 8K, or all of it beyond 8K slightly subdued, that's taking away from the ringing sound that I get from strings that sound natural. This lacks that. So bass guitar is not this thing's strong point. As we get into Bonham's kick drum, emphatic, authoritative track from the 4th album by Led Zeppelin that is very famous and very iconic because of its force and power, and they They teach how to do that and lessons and how it was done historically and the tips and tricks and the gears and the compressors and limiters and spatial panning effects that they used. I think they borrowed a truck from the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. There's a whole story behind it because it's a famous track, and it's famous because it's powerful. It's borderline obnoxious for rock and roll. Boom, boom, boom. It was very potent. It's an iconic moment in rock history. This does that fine. So as we take the bass now and we look back at it, we've got the hip hop that sounds fine, the kick drum that sounds fine, and the bass guitar 4 or 5 string, which is a little more complex than just those other two things I spoke about, which are more focused in the range. The bass guitar that's not really good on this. As we move into the vocals, which is the mids to me because they take that up, it sounds like this is a set that, as the graph would indicate, is probably better suited for male vocals. Chris Cornell, Lane Staley, they sound fine. It sounds like a budget set, obviously, to my ears. There's a mental bias that goes along when you know that something costs $30, but I think I can hear it. It doesn't sound any different from other budget LCP sets. Nina's female vocals, Heart of Glass cover, does sound a little touched, and I mean it's a little warm, and I don't know that a lot of people want that. I think the variations and a lot of sets that are popular with certain group is like that because it's very clean. There's no what they would call mud. I wouldn't call it that, but there's none of that whatsoever. So I think for vocals, it's male, it's okay. For female, probably not. As we get into the harmonics and overtones, which is things I use like cymbals, keyboards, piano. Piano covers the entire scale that you're looking at when you look at frequency response graph. The lower to the highest notes on the piano really cover your entire audible range. It's an amazing instrument in that sense. And so there's a lot of harmonics and overtones that go all the way up the scale. This is kind of showing its weakness, and this is the not the confusion, but this was my simple caveman brain looking at this and thinking it doesn't have that spike like the gate and the area audio. So I'll probably like this, and I actually don't. I think it lacks too much in that area. If I take a piece of software that I use frequently and I apply a filter, and I take my music and I wipe everything away, and I just listen to past 10K, 8K actually, there's not a lot up there. So you think it doesn't matter really how the tuning or what it looks like up there. And then you listen to music and you actually do pick it up. So let's go ahead and put this on the scale. Dumpster fire? No. It's $30. Hope it was free. Coping is working. I'm not coping. It's $30 and I know what it's sweet. Competes with its peers. I buy it. Go on the same side. I would say this is a I'm not coping because I know what it is. $30, I think you can do better than this. I'm going to say competes with its peers because $30, I think there's a lot of sets. No, I'm going to change that. This is how scripted I am. I'm going to say I hope it was free. My library, which is rock and roll hip hop centric, this isn't really a set. There are other options in the $30 range that I would probably pick over this. And you can think of or suggest below or ask me, how about, are you talking about this one or that one? Because there's so many. I know I've gotten hyped about some budget sets. I can't think of them off the top of my head because I actually listen to expensive stuff in my free time. Not flexing, but I don't listen to budget sets casually on my free time. That's like a waste of my free time. Yeah, hope it was free. That's it. I'm out. You guys have a nice week, and I'll probably be back in like 2 days. And I got Timmy's video coming up, and that's going to be a giveaway of that signed set right there. And now I'm out.